Okay, ladies and gents, welcome. It's time to chat some more wrestling here on CM42 TV. You always like to take one day of the week at least to chat about the wrestling, no matter what's happening in the world, no matter what stops you from going to work, whatever stops us from living a normal life. The wrestling will always be there, and the wrestling will always be safe. Or will it, is the question I'm here to ask. Will the wrestling be safe within the next couple of weeks / days? Because it's the most unbelievable, most unprecedented and unpredictable thing that maybe has ever happened to the McMahon family. I'm a big fan of the McMahon family. I know a lot of people kind of aren't too keen on them, but they've provided me with years and years and years of entertainment, so who am I to moan about them no matter what decisions they may make. And their most recent kind of strange decision, a couple of months ago or a couple of weeks ago after Super Showdown, when Goldberg won the Universal Championship from The Fiend, that was probably the strangest decision. And there's reason behind it and stuff like that, and I can understand those reasons. Maybe it just isn't the thing I would have done, but I totally understood, why they did it. I just thought it was a relatively abrupt decision. But then one thing led to another, and here we are on the 24th of March 2020 on recording day, and WrestleMania 36, which was scheduled for April the 5th, is now taking place technically tomorrow. It's actually taking place March 25th and 26th. It is the most unbelievable and strangest thing ever. If you told me a while ago that, in a couple of years' time, everybody will have to people will be forced to stay indoors and watch the telly all day, but that'll make everybody raging. And WrestleMania is going to be taped 2 weeks early, a week and a half early, along in front of no audience, in the Performance Centre, and it's going to be split over 2 nights. I would have called you not only crazy, but a maniac as well, is what I would call you, because that is the most absurd thing you've ever heard. But guess what? All those things are true. We've spoke a bunch about the coronavirus stuff, and everybody's talking about it, so really we shouldn't keep mentioning it. But here I am on this day, talking about wrestling, talking about COVID-19. But the way that's the thing though, it's on everybody's mind, everybody's talking about it, and it's almost everything that people are talking about, every set thing that people want to make a point of has to come from that, so we're sitting here in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, just freaking out a little bit, and we're literally being told, not even recommended, not even advised, we are being told and ordered to stay indoors, watch wrestling all day, work out from home, listen to music all day, don't leave if you have to go, to work if it's necessary, go get the shopping once a week, go for a walk once a day if you want, which I thought was dead funny because they said that last night in the news. Everyone's allowed to go for one walk a day, and then everybody was just out walking. Not that anyone's ever walked before, but that's what they were doing today. I wasn't one of them. I said I was gonna, but I never, because I saw everybody else doing it, and I didn't want to be like them. So I'm going to do it tomorrow. I've been exercising here though, I've been doing some stretches. Anyway, so not only is that affecting our lives in terms of going out to the shops and going for walks and doing our exercise and going to work, but then you have to think about the big picture here, that the wrestlers in WWE, their work means flying, their work means travelling, and their work means touching other people, surrounded by hundreds and thousands of other people, and it's just not something that can be done in this environment. But since the wrestling is so, powerful and resilient and all that stuff, we slap the people in the face of adversity, and we go for the complete opposite direction of what you're telling us, and we're going to find a way to make sure we get through this. We're going to tape WrestleMania, we're going to tape Raw for the next couple of weeks, we're going to tape SmackDown, NXT, all that stuff, we're going to do all in advance, just in case. But what we're not doing is we're not thinking long term here, we're not looking at the big picture, because yes, when they get to WrestleMania, that's great, we're going to have this taped WrestleMania, and I'm going to try and explain to you why I don't think it's such a bad idea. But then what happens after WrestleMania? This coronavirus stuff is not slowing down in the slightest for at least 3-4 months. It's at least, all the way up to the summertime. Are we continuing to have Raw and SmackDown and NXT and AEW and 205 and NXT UK and all that, all of it behind closed doors? Or are we finally going to begrudgingly relinquish the title of the longest running weekly episodic television show in history, Monday Night Raw? Will Monday Night Raw need to have an off season for the first time ever? It's likely. I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're going to continue to do what's happening already. the behind closed doors thing, and I must say last night's Raw was a massive improvement, not only because there was a couple more matches in the ring, but they moved the camera, they moved the hard cam, so it was directly facing the Titantron, the stage, like it would have been in the old Madison Square Garden, like SummerSlam 98, Survivor Series 2002, Royal Rumble 2000, that random Raw from 2009, some random wrestling knowledge off the top of my head in terms of Madison Square Garden shows. Survivor Series 96 was another one. Did I miss any obvious ones out? WrestleMania 20, but WrestleMania 20 had the other set, but they had to take away some of the chairs. And speaking of chairs, by shooting it like that, they've taken away all the sort of empty seats in the Performance Centre. And I must say, that's a no-brainer. But for some reason, for Raw, SmackDown, and I think NXT was like a bunch of promos and that sort of thing. But for the programming last week, it was in the Performance Centre, like obvious and like we were expecting. But they just put out all the seats, waiting for the audience, when they knew the audience weren't going to be there. For some reason, they still put out the seats. People didn't even mention that. I was like, why have they put out the seats? They've done a good thing here, because it's not because they've watched AEW and AEW did the same thing. ROH have been doing it for years, TNA did it for ages, TNA have been doing it for ages, or Impact have been doing it for ages with their pay-per-views, Bound for Glory, Slammiversary, that sort of thing. They've had the camera, it's smaller venues obviously, but the hard cam is up here and the entranceway is here, and you can see the crowd round, but like you're directly facing the entranceway. AEW did it on Wednesday and it looked brilliant. And by the way, I think I talked about this last week. I couldn't have, because I'd done this on Tuesday, but I think I did. It's all running together. But I thought AEW did a brilliant job, because I did talk about this, because I talked about Brody Lee and Matt Hardy. Check out that video. They did a great job, because you didn't even notice the fact that there was no fans there. They put heels on one side and they put faces on the other side. They put the hard cam against the big stage. They still had the pyro, they still had the commentary, they still had all the stuff. It's just business as usual. And I guess that's what WWE is going for in terms of WrestleMania. And why do I not think this is such a bad idea that WrestleMania is going to be taped? A lot of people were saying like they just wish it was postponed. And at first I was like, I wanted to go ahead. I just wanted it to happen, because it's April time, it's springtime. I just think it would ruin everything. It would throw everything out of sync to have WrestleMania another time of the year. It'll make it less special next April when 37 comes around. Then when they announced it was behind closed doors, and I was thinking about it, and like that thing with Taker on Raw, which I enjoyed. Taker coming out looking a bit more American badass like, and you know, with looking at AJ on the screen, that was really cool. And then Edge did this promo in the ring and that sort of thing, which was really cool. But then I was starting to think, oh god, like WrestleMania is going to get stale very quickly. And then they announced the 2 nights thing, and I was like, my god, 2 shows 4 hours long with no audience is going to get old very quickly. And then they're going to need to do Raw and SmackDown and everything after it, like nothing's even changed, which I think is crazy. But now I'm thinking it's not going to be that big of a deal, because not only is it going to be taped, but they'll have it in the can, so they'll be able to do whatever they want with it. They can change the order of the matches accordingly. They can edit around things that don't go right. Last night on Raw, it looked as if there was a botched finish. Looks like Cedric Alexander didn't kick out of a certain spot from Andrade, and it was live and it looked daft, and it probably looked a bit better the fact there was no crowd there, but these things happen, and obviously wrong finishes happen sometimes, and you just need to go with it. But if that's taped, that wouldn't have happened. Obviously that would have been the finish, but you wouldn't have seen the kind of awkward kick out, late count sort of thing. So the fact that WrestleMania is going to be taped, we're able to work around that. And people are always making a big deal about the order of the matches, and I'm always like that. I like to try and predict what's going to be the opener, what's going to be that sort of buffer match, what's going to be the main event. There's now going to be 2 open matches, there's now going to be 2 main events, because you're going over 2 days, which is good because it gives people that claim to fame that they've main evented WrestleMania. I was assuming it was going to be Drew and Brock and then Roman and Goldberg, but I've read things today that it was going to be Becky and Shayna and Rhea and Charlotte as the main events, which is mental when you think about it, especially the star power on the show. I could argue that Edge and Orton should be the main event because it's the best story. The Fiend and John Cena could end up being really good. I don't know. AJ and Taker is now going to be a boneyard match, whatever that is. And it's just another one of those, you know, gimmick matches. It's not as if it's like people are having a hissy fit because we don't know the rules to this match. What is that? That's not the point. It's just a way to make this different. This would not be happening if it was still in that Raymond James Stadium or whatever it's called in Tampa Bay. This is a way to not only protect Taker, but protect this match. AJ and Undertaker is a dream match that, quite frankly, that no one ever expected. Not even those 2 guys would never even expect to happen. not even one fan in that entire stadium, if it was still going ahead, would have predicted they would get to see AJ Styles versus The Undertaker in any situation, never mind WrestleMania. However, it's a kind of a lose-lose situation because there's no way for AJ to win that match. You can't get him in the calf crusher. Well, you can get him in calf crusher, but Taker's not tapping. You can't get him in the Styles clash. If he hits him with the forearm, Taker's going to need to take a kind of slow, gentle bump, which would look rubbish. Then if Taker wins, people would moan that he's burying AJ and the match would go long and all this stuff. Whereas this sort of gimmick thing, the Boneyard match, and it's going to be taped and that sort of thing, they're literally going to have a match in a sort of rigged, set up graveyard-like setting. And it's going to be like the final deletion. It's going to be like a Matt Hardy. I wouldn't even be surprised if they fucking phone Matt Hardy and they go, you got any ideas? Jeremy Borash works for NXT. I would put money on Jeremy Borash being involved in this match, producing it, putting together the spots, putting together the camera angles. It's going to be such a nice break to the show. It's going to make you think, oh man, you don't need an audience to have a really entertaining match, because those final deletion matches, Delete or Decay, the Great War, the Ultimate Deletion on Raw, and even the New Day thing when they went to the Wyatt compound, like they tried to counter the final deletion and it was like the New Day versus the Wyatts at the Wyatt compound. Even that was great. People always were slagging the Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt thing where he lit his house on fire and they went to the mad house in the woods and Bray Wyatt dropped a fridge on him and all that stuff, and it was daft. But it was that nice break to the show. It was a nice sort of, oh, well, that's kind of refreshing. The fact you've got AJ and Taker, you've got like the OC in there as well to do their thing. I'm sure you get a few Easter eggs, like even Kane could pop up and things like that. That's not going to be an issue, and that's going to be one of the highlights of the show, I reckon. I'm looking forward to that a lot, and it's going to be a lot of fun, it's going to be funny, it's going to give Taker a lot of leeway, and it'll stand out. Another thing I was talking about to my mate earlier, who you may be hearing very soon here on CM42 TV in one way, shape or form, is that we will always remember this WrestleMania. There's no way that we will ever look back at this WrestleMania and just be like, oh, it was just an average show. This is going to stand the test of time. This is going to stand out like a sore thumb for the rest of the time. I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I'd put money in the fact that this is never going to happen again. Where WrestleMania has just gotten so big, it's never even going to be held in an arena with less than 20,000 people, never mind no people. It's crazy. So now when you look back, you're going to see all these great stadium shows for the rest of the time. And now we're getting one right here where there's going to be no audience, there's going to be no crowd, there's going to be no live stadium aspect to it. It's going to be in the performance centre, and and I love the fact they're still going for the match card. It's a shame for people like Rhea Ripley and people like Edge and even people like Big Drew. Drew McIntyre's going to win the title. And there's going to be no ovation, there's going to be no reaction, there's going to be no big deal made about the fact that Drew McIntyre has worked so hard for this title. The first British-born world champion, all that stuff. I'm honestly thinking they're probably going to postpone it. They're going to have Lesnar beat Drew and they're still going to have Roman beat Goldberg, and that's fine. But that gives me kind of butterflies though, because I'm thinking, okay, yeah, we'll save Drew for SummerSlam, but SummerSlam's ages away, I don't know, man. I don't know. You need to get through all these other things. The empty arena Money in the Bank, is that going to happen? An empty arena Extreme Rules pay-per-view where every match is falls count anywhere? I don't know. Do you put the title on Drew just to do it, or do you wait for that great moment? And if you wait, you risk the chance of people getting bored. You risk the chance of an opportunity being missed. You miss the chance of, or there's an opportunity for Vince to get bored, which is very likely. I just feel like this Drew thing has been going on for years and years and years. It's like he's the one with all the potential and he's going to be a world champion. And it's like, okay, well, this is the moment and it could happen, but it could easily not happen as well because of everything that's going on. So I don't know at all. The only other thing to talk about right now is Edge and Orton just putting together the best story going into WrestleMania, considering the fact of the circumstances surrounding everything. Edge's big return, this is his big first one-on-one match in front of a big stadium. I was praying for Alter Bridge to play Metalingus live. That's obviously not going to happen. The good part about this is it gives Edge that first match, in front of, there's no big pressure, there's no big audience there to impress necessarily. Get your footing, you're in there with Randy Orton, who you know is going to be so smooth, so quick, not going to hurt him in the slightest. It's going to be a really easy match for Edge to do. I guess that's good. And my God, Randy Orton doesn't get the credit he deserves for being one of the all-time greats. His promo on Raw. And do you know, have you noticed these promos recently? Even with being Roman Reigns, Goldberg, Bray Wyatt, John Cena, AJ, Taker, I guess Taker didn't speak, Austin, these people who've been cutting promos, Kevin Owens, and they're talking directly in the camera. They're talking to you, and they're getting you hooked. Edge last week, Randy last night. They're getting you absolutely invested. They're getting you literally in the door without you leaving the house. It's an unbelievable art doing these promos, and it's so funny the fact that Vince doesn't like it. Vince doesn't like, this is the reports I've heard, Vince doesn't like when you look into the camera because it kind of breaks the fourth wall. And he always talks to the live crowd and stuff, but now you've got no choice. It's just, I just feel like, maybe it's because it's not as often, you know, and it's more refreshing, but I just think it's more gripping. Jake the Snake Roberts cut a promo on AEW last week, and like, I was saying this as well, like I was almost like well past Jake Roberts' prime, in terms of, you know, seeing him as one of the greatest ever, but everybody tells you he is and you just kind of go with it. But the first time that I'd ever really felt him being one of the greatest promo guys of all time was on Wednesday in AEW, because he was sitting there and he was talking to Cody, but he was also talking to me right down that lens, and I was like, my God, he is incredible. Just like Randy Orton last night, just like Edge last week. This is going to be the best match on the show, I think, anyway, and at least it could have been if there was, you know, it's a last man standing match. It would have been a lot more drama involved with the crowd there, but obviously things happen. You also have to, people are slagging WWE a lot here, you always have to give them the benefit of the doubt here, because they're literally reacting, they're doing the biggest, this couldn't have come at a worse time, you know, it couldn't have been Money in the Bank, this could have been postponed, it could have been Extreme Rules or Payback or whatever, you know, it had to be, you know, right at the point where everybody's talking about WWE. It's getting to this big, massive stadium show, the biggest show of the year. They're going to be losing millions and millions of dollars just because they can't do WrestleMania. And people, I think, are speaking a bit out of line by saying the fact that, oh, you should just rest the wrestlers and give them time off. If you would, I'd guarantee you, if you spoke to 90% of the roster and you said, would you rather miss WrestleMania and get some time off, or would you rather do WrestleMania and then go home and spend more time with your family? I reckon they'd do WrestleMania. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. It's going to be different, it's going to be weird, it's going to be a bit bizarre. We're just going to have to deal with it. I'm even more confused by the fact there's 2 nights. I was expecting them just trying to get through it and that one night thing, but the fact they're still doing all the matches, like I think there's 12 matches already confirmed, they're all going to take forever. At least we don't need to worry about long entrances and long crowd pops. It's going to be a weird show, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. It's the first WrestleMania in years that there's no big deal. You know, it's not as if we're organising viewing parties and we're getting all the snacks in and we're watching all the old ones. I always like to watch the old WrestleManias and the Hall of Fames and things like that to lead up to it, because it's like we're leading to something, we're leading to the new one. And now when I watched some of WrestleMania 22 the other day, just because I wanted to watch it, because I'm in that WrestleMania season, you know, mode. But it's just not leading to anything. I just don't know what to do. So it's a very, very strange time, but I am looking forward to seeing how it comes off. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all here again next week for some more wrestling chat here on CM42 TV. I wish everybody luck to avoid the spoilers for WrestleMania. If anybody spoils WrestleMania for me on Twitter, unfollow me, I will unfollow you, and I will block you. Do not spoil WrestleMania for anybody, please. And yeah, until next time, folks, thanks very much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all in the next video.